Hello students, today I am going to teach lesson 2 of civics, the executive, union and states. The executive is the organ of government that gives effect to the laws made by the legislature. In India, the executive, whether at the central level or the state level, has an official head, a real head, and a council of ministers. In the union executive or the central level, the official head is the President of India, real head is the Prime Minister, and council of ministers are the other head of their department like cabinet ministers, ministers of states, and deputy minister. Now, the president. The president of India is the official head of the union executive. A state executive is officially headed by the governor of the state. The official head of the executive acts on the advice of the council of ministers. Thus, he is the head of the executive in name only, that is, a nominal head. Now, the procedure of election of President of India. The presidential election is conducted by the Election Commission. It is an indirect election. In other words, the people of India do not elect their president. Instead, this is done through a system of proportional representation by means of a single transferable vote and secret ballot. The president is elected by an electoral college consisting of members of both the houses of the parliament and state legislatures. Now, the qualification for the position of President of India. A President of India must be a citizen of India. He must be at least 35 years of age. He must be enrolled on the electoral list. He must be of sound mental health. He must not be an economic offender. He must not be a proven criminal. He must not hold an office of profit under the government. Now, the salary and allowances of president. In your book, salary is given 1.5 lakh per month, but now it has become 5 lakh per month. The President of India draws a monthly salary of rupees 5 lakh per month. He is entitled to draw other allowances. He is given a free accommodation. It is the Rashtrapati Bhavan where he resides. Then after retirement, the President is given a monthly pension of rupees 2,50,000. Now, the powers of the President. The President enjoys a vast power which may be grouped as follows. First is the legislative powers. The President heads the Parliament. He can summon Parliament to discuss some important points of administration. Some of his or her legislative powers are: he or she nominates 12 members to the Rajya Sabha and 2 to the Lok Sabha. She can dissolve the Lok Sabha before its term expires. No bill in Parliament can become an act of Parliament without his or her consent and signature. But if his or her recommendations to the Parliament are rejected, he or she has no option but to pass the bill. When Parliament is not in session, the President can issue ordinances which are equivalent to an act of Parliament. He or she can also dissolve the Lok Sabha and order fresh elections. Now, the executive powers of the President. All decisions of the Union Executive are carried out in the name of the President. All decisions of a state executive are carried out in the name of the Governor. President appoints the Prime Minister of India, Council of Ministers at the center on the advice of the Prime Minister, Governors of the states, Chief Justice of India and Judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts, Chief of the Armed Forces. The President himself is the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. Chairman and members of the Union Public Service Commission is also appointed by the President of India. Now the judicial powers of the President. The President, on an appeal for mercy, can reduce the sentence of or grant pardon to any person sentenced by the courts within Indian territory. He can even change a death sentence. The governor can grant pardon to or reduce the sentence of a person sentenced under the law of the state. However, governor cannot change a death sentence. Now the administrative powers of the President. The President of India appoints the Prime Minister and on his advice he appoints the Council of Ministers. The Union Territories are administered in the name of the President. There are no legislatures in these territories and they are administered by the Chief Commissioner, Commissioner or Lieutenant Governor appointed by the President. The President is responsible for the smooth administration in these centrally administered areas. In fact, all executive actions of the Union are taken in the name of the President of India. Now the financial powers of the President. The President enjoys extensive financial powers. They are: he causes the annual budget to be laid before the Parliament in the beginning of every financial year. He causes to be laid the annual financial statement before the Parliament. No money bill can be introduced in the Parliament without his prior assent. He distributes the shares of the income tax received between the Union and states. The President can create contingency fund from which he can advance to meet unforeseen expenditure. He may appoint Finance Commission and implement its recommendation. Now the emergency powers of the President. The President, on the advice of the Council of Ministers, can declare a state of general emergency if the country is threatened by an attack from outside, a disturbance within, or a financial crisis. When there is breakdown of law and order in a state, the president can take over the administration of the state. This situation is called president's rule. Now the military powers of the president. The President of India is the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces of India. The high officers of the defense forces are appointed by him. He declares war, concludes treaties, or makes peace on behalf of India. The Parliament, with the consent of the President, makes law for training, employment, maintenance, and control of the defense forces personnel. Now, the diplomatic powers of a president. All international agreements and treaties are concluded in her or his name. The president receives and sends ambassadors. She or he also represents the country at international forums. Now, the impeachment. The president can be removed from office by the process of impeachment. This can be done if there is evidence that the president has behaved in a manner not befitting his or her high office, and or he or she has violated the constitution of the country. Impeachment is a special trial that is conducted by Parliament. Since impeachment of a president is a very serious concern, it requires to be carefully deliberated upon. Thank you for today. In the next video, I will explain about the Vice President, the Prime Minister, the Council of Ministers, and the civil servants. So thank you and watch the next video.